Join us today as we talk about a new BattleTech product I picked up at Gen Con in the Hextech line, pre-painted buildings from Gale Force 9. Welcome back to those who've been here before, or welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. I'm Bob.
I'm Jim.
This is the Geek Cabal channel. And today we're going to be reviewing a new BattleTech product that has recently come on the market. And this is from Gale Force 9. These are pre-painted buildings for BattleTech. They go under the Hextech moniker. And we're going to be checking one of them out here. So this is going to be both an unboxing and review and all in one here. So let's get to unboxing. I'm going to go ahead and make one quick note because I know someone's going to ask. I confirmed this with the gentleman there at Gen Con, and I apologize. I do not have his name because he was very helpful. If I can somehow get his name between now and posting this video, I'll put it in the description. But these are made of resin, and I did not initially think so because of the feel and the weight, because they don't feel heavy enough to be resin to me. From Dwarven Forge stuff, I know that resin is just stupidly heavy, and this really isn't. So I really thought this was similar to the Dwarvenite that Dwarven Forge uses based on the feel, but the guy assured me that it is in fact resin, so you need to know that if you plan on cutting into it. Don't know why you'd do that, but just so you know, because resin dust sucks. So this is definitely not resin. This is flexible. So this is the bottom. As you can see, it is indeed a hex-based base here. So this would take up 7 hexes, the one in the center and then 6 around. And it has a carve out there for the building to sit in.
You just need to buy an entire city of these and put them on your big map that you've got.
That map is 4 foot by 6 foot. Do you have any idea how many of these it would take? It'd be ridiculous.
It would be great.
It would be, but you wouldn't make it. You wouldn't ever be able to do anything because the folks. I apologize. It's going to take a minute to get into this. You wouldn't be able to make any progress because you'd not be able to get between the buildings.
You're going to have this lovely sound if you do it right up next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I would have known that,
I'm gonna start popping these bubbles in frustration here in a minute.
If I would have known that, I would have brought my Milwaukee scissors that I have. Industrial, good stuff.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the level of the packaging here because resin can crack, so it's something you should be concerned about. One of the only drawbacks of this being resin, well, that in that hole, you shouldn't cut it thing.
What kind of? I'll wait till you're done cutting through this. I was going to say, what kind of price is this? But I think people would actually want to hear it.
Yeah. Hang on.
And before we open up any more on these, I have to get scissors.
Yeah. So here's the building itself. And I don't know if these are actually based on any designs from the artwork or anything in particular. They just went with, hey, that kind of looks like it's from the future. So I can't speak to that. Now, these do vaguely look like the buildings that I'm used to seeing in the MechWarrior video games. So this is the only set that's just a single building. The others come with 2 buildings, each painted a different color. And keep an eye on our channel because there's going to be another review for the set of 2 buildings. For one of the sets. There's, I want to say there were 5 or 6 sets. This building was $30. And the set of 2 buildings that I got, I believe was $35. And then some of them were $35, some of them were $40. I think it was $210 to get all of them, if I remember right.
So these things at the top, I don't hit it there. These things at the top, are those actually meant for people to stand on or things to be
They
positioned?
are, if anything, they're meant for helipads because VTOLs are definitely a big thing in BattleTech. So that's probably they're like this building is supposed to be. Let's see here, the Justice Tower. I'm assuming Superman and Batman are up here on the top somewhere. Uh, so I guess it's supposed to be like a police department, which again, you're basically looking at vaguely futuristic is the idea here. And this is in the darker paint scheme. The others come with both a darker one and a tan paint scheme. But yeah, if you want to use some buildings for BattleTech, now one thing to note, because I can actually show it here, because I have a prop from a previously recorded video right on hand. A battle mech takes up 1 hex. Okay, so a battle mech is typically, if I recall correctly, 30 to 40 feet tall. So this building is 120 feet, give or take, which, that's realistic, except for the fact that the battle mechs don't actually occupy that entire hex. That's an extrapolation for the game. Because the hex, I don't remember how wide it is, but it's much wider than the battle mech itself is.
Yeah, that makes
which
sense.
means this building is actually pretty gigantic. Buildings in scale with the battle mechs, for the most part, should be smaller. I think it's smaller. I know some of the ones on the maps are huge, but again, it's future tech stuff.
But yeah, this would definitely make it easier to know, like if you're able to target a mech. Because I think with same thing with like flat maps where you're like, okay, well I've got a building here. Am I in line of sight of that character? Versus now I could say, well if I'm here, I'm not in
Yeah,
line of sight. I can see that I'm definitely being blocked. Versus
right. Yeah, and the gentleman I spoke with, this is only the first set of products. They're coming out with streets and hills. And the hills are going to be such that they're going to kind of stack so you can still mostly see the hexes, which sounds an awful lot like Heroescape. We'll see how it turns out. They didn't have them on display yet, but those are supposed to be coming. I think he said this fall is what the projection is. These should already be available at retail, or at the very least through Gale Force 9, because I saw their site before Gen Con already had them up for order. But this was the first con that they had them there you could actually show them. So they've only recently come on the market. Yeah, or I suppose you could do up. You guys got jump jets, get up there. But I think it's mainly meant for VTOLs. So anyway, that
I
is
can say the detail on it though is really nice. The color's really nice, and
yeah for the price. I mean, considering that I'm probably only going to buy a handful of the buildings just to put on the maps that don't already have a city on them. You know, yeah, I think they're worth the price. So that's just me though. But yeah, I like the looks of them. They're very detailed, and I'm curious how the hill system is going to work out because I really don't want to try to build an entire map out of this stuff because that'll get expensive. But depending on how the hill system looks, I might buy into those. And I don't know about the roads. We'll see. It's one of those things like I keep telling myself I don't actually need a lot of this stuff, but man, it's kind of awesome. So
well,
we'll see. We'll see which side wins in that debate.
well, either that or we'll be having BattleTech being played in Dwarven Forge if pieces.
Well,
You're like, well, I've got this.
I mean the outdoor stuff if you do it right.
Well, I've got this mech in this medieval village. It's all right.
Hey, I see a guy uses it for Warhammer 40K. So
So I did have one question. So this is the Justice Tower. What is Trinity City?
I'm assuming that that's like the theme this is built around. I don't know that Trinity City is an actual city in BattleTech anywhere. If any of you know, please let me know down in the comments. But I'm assuming they're like saying these buildings, this is how buildings look in Trinity City. They might make some other set of buildings for some other city, that look vaguely futuristic in some other way. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for a building that's just square, like real buildings.
Yeah, well, saw a house in Indianapolis when we were leaving. We were leaving Chris's heading into downtown one day. It was just a rectangle, or not quite a cube, but And it was just like, this is the most utilitarian looking house I've ever seen in my life. No sloped roofs, no nothing. It's just four walls, flat top.
I mean, this at least you're getting, something very unique. And like I said, I think it'd be neat to have things on top and maybe some turrets up here to.
Well, there are other companies that do make turrets. So, because automated gun turrets are a thing at BattleTech. And Iron Wind Metals also sells turrets, like the bases, and then tank tops to put onto them, and rocket launchers and things like that. So, anyway, that's one of the buildings. Keep an eye out. Like I said, we're going to have another review for, I think they're apartment buildings, but we'll see. I don't remember exactly what they were off the top of my head. Yeah. So I think they're apartment buildings or like an estate or something, some kind of weird name. But they also had a university and some other things. I mean, what they name them is utterly irrelevant because, like, this doesn't look like a police. This looks like the police building from Blade Runner 2049.
OCP.
Yeah, or OCP or something. Like, this does not look like a police headquarters. So make them whatever you want to make them. But, the buildings look cool. And like I said, keep an eye out because we do have another set that I bought. And so we're going to be doing a review for that. I did only buy the one hat, though, so hope you guys like House Lau. If Chad ever comes back, he bought a House Steiner hat. And a quick note on these, forgot to mention it in the first video that I filmed with this on. These are supposed to be available on their website sometime in the next month or so. These were not convention exclusive. They had them for the 5 houses and the 4 main invasion clans. So anyway, that's about it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think. BattleTech fans, you can buy into these. Do you think they're completely superfluous? What's your opinion on them? Too expensive? And on that front, I'll try to link to the Gale Force 9 page where you can find them. Yeah. Other than that, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Keep an eye out for other BattleTech videos. If you're new to the channel, I've done a number of book reviews and some older product reviews. And I've done a couple information-y type videos, mainly describing the Dark Age. I have more planned. I've had several planned for quite a while. We just haven't gotten around to doing them. But I do have some others planned for the immediate future. So keep an eye out for those. But otherwise, just remember, no guts, no galaxy.